What's up? What's up? Let's go. Let's go. Movie Decode. Funnel Fade Movie Decode. We back again. Another episode. We're gonna get into it. Demolition Man. Demolition Man. Another word for thug. Man of destruction. Yeah. Trouble. Man of trouble. Demolition Man. Wherever he go, things get destroyed. And that's what the whole concept of the movie of. The whole concept of the movie is the Demolition Man is the thug, the criminal. Demolition Man also means criminal. All right? Like I said, menace to society, Demolition Man. Gangster, Demolition Man. Wherever Demolition Man go, something's going to be destroyed. Somebody's going to die. It's going to be a lot of chaos, madness, no order, no structure. It's going to be chaos. And that's why the Demolition Man is Wesley Snipes. And everything is coded in here. This whole thing is based on a destructive man in penitentiary. It was showing us how in the future, the criminal was going to be stuck in time. Their whole concept of prison was, well, in the movie, it was played out as them preserving and freezing the body. So say you got 25 years, they actually are freezing your body for 25 years. And then you get out. Or you know what I'm saying? Whenever it's time for you to get out, then you get out. But it was actually on some, basically what we know would be called stuck in time. That's like a person get locked up in 2005. They're stuck in time. They might get out and still be living like 2005. So that's like the concept of this movie, because it's about the future and it's about an experiment that was done and they watching it play out in the future. And within this movie, it is so many different things that we see today and some of the things they just put out there. Because I was like, when I say things like it's a 30th anniversary on certain things, this came out in 1993, same year Bad Boy Records was started, right? Same year, Tupac dropped his first album, 93. Very important years. But I didn't get hip to this movie, I say, to about like 2000. And this is a movie, every time you watch, you're going to always see something. But when I finally had got this movie, it tells you everything. How America is going to be a lot of people from other places. They're going to be, the people from other places are going to be the majority and everybody else is going to be gone. Mainly the Demolition Man, him and his people, all of them going to be gone. So all of them was gone, but it was an experiment and it went left. It also is showing how in this time in the future, prison will be mental. Everything they do will be mental control, psychological control. So it also shows how doctors involved in this and things like that. So when you heard about that prison reform recent, that's what prison reform is about. Dealing with things different, mental level. Yeah. You also see the code of Wesley Snipes with the two hoop earrings. You also will see the hairstyle. Now, once again, when this movie first came out, it was no such thing as that hairstyle. It was never a person with that complexion wearing hair that color. At this time, y'all, it never was nothing about no so-called man like that wearing blonde hair. But this was the prediction. In the future, y'all going to wear that hair color. Y'all going to be weird. Y'all going to be chaotic. You're going to be psychotic. And you're going to be a demolition man. Everything y'all touch going to be destroyed. And that's why you also see the outfit, the jump. See the orange and the blue? That represent the prison. Yeah, that's right. Because that's also one of the codes that had to be in the head first. Anyway, our future. We're showing right here, y'all. Law enforcement versus criminal. And that's what the movie based on. It's about law enforcement. It's about the new forms of keeping things under control. And it's about this guy. He's stuck in his old ways. He has the criminal element. It never left, but he's in a new world with his criminal behavior. And what make the movie so tricky, it make it good because it shows that he's in a new world, but it also shows how the policing, they actually became dumber because they were based on technology. So it's going to show two things. They were smarter because of technology, and they was dumber because of technology. So they were dumb because of technology, because it was showing how in the future it would be no such thing as police walking the beat, talking to people. This is also based on the future where humans with no contact. When you see how empty it is in the street now outside, things are not the same. It's like this way. Look, it's all in here. How it's going to be a time in America where there's not going to be a lot of people outside, and most of the people outside are going to be foreigners. And then, and not only that, everybody's going to look alike, but that particular person is going to be out of here. Then they're not going to be around. And the ones that are, they're going to be the good ones. But the criminal is also represented when the criminal element was officially wiped out. Also at this time, from profanity, everything negative was considered foul. It was against the law. Cursing, all that stuff. And since that movie, also a lot of those laws in this movie was implemented. Yes, it is places you cannot curse in public. Yes, this is where, like, how some places, okay, no sagging your pants, you get in trouble. This is where all this stuff come from. It was showing how it was going to be a time where people was going to be so much out of control that they were going to have to be watched, surveillance, and they're going to become the ultimate criminal element. And the criminal element being destroyed meant that they had to be destroyed. So that's why it was no more of them left. And he was taken out of prison because the doctor wanted to prove that after prison, he can control him mentally. And it went left. Yeah. So that's I'm just giving a little concept. But yeah, they were showing law enforcement versus the criminal element, but the concept of his hair and all that, weirdo. That's what all that means. Weirdo, chaotic. Like I said, before the such thing as wearing blue contacts, that color hair, it was already in here. Yup. And people that saw the video, orange and black, yeah, I know what's up with the orange. That, like I said, they always this is how they were subliminally putting the prison in there, in your mind, 24/7. So yeah, this is him in the prison getting the experiment, which would be now considered with the prison reform, how it is things going on in prison where the thug can get operations. Anybody want to get operation can get an operation and get released early. It's in the movie. It's just coded. He's in a special program. He's in a special experiment. You'll see him with the two earrings, the two hoop earrings. You see the two hoops that represent feminine. So it represents that he's in a particular study, but he's also in a particular favor to be in these studies. Yeah. Yep. And it also is showing that the different ways of they can do, lockup. Like they already talking about now, they don't need guards no more. They don't need guards. Plus, it's a campaign on how many, or a lot of dirty officers been being caught. That's something else I got to talk about. Yes, so many officers have been being caught, and also officers are being caught right now as this country is being swept for drug activity. A lot of officers have been dirty, taking bribes. It is sad, but the thing about it is, it was already in movies and said that it will be a day where they will not need no more officers anyway. So a lot of officers took the bait, but see, this whole prison thing is going to be ran electrical, digital. Because remember, the cells open up and close by themselves, and they actually can have you just strapped up and you don't do nothing anyway. You can come out, but you might just come in the hallway like that. We just giving examples. Or they already got it where they release cell by cell, one inmate by. You get your break, you get your break, you get your break. You know what I'm saying? It just opens up. You got your turn. You got your turn. It's like that. They don't need no officers for real. So, yeah. So that's why I say it's a chain of command. Like also, how we hear about all those jobs getting taken. We heard about it from the high ups, right? Soon it's going to start coming down to these prison systems. Now, look, also the concept of the movie is he's extinct. His people extinct. But not only is He's from an extinct people. He's a thug. So also the thug life is part of his surviving, but the whole concept of the movie is how things change and he has to adapt. And everything is different. But everything in this movie is coded because you'll see that screen right there, y'all. This is the beauty of the movie. You see the screen? Touch screen. What's the technology in it? Alexa. All that's in here. Talking to the computer. This when it was all just in a movie, y'all. But this, a long time ago, I learned everything in the movie is real, and they're going to bring it out. You know what I'm saying? So you'll see the nursing outfit. He was in an experiment, y'all. He was in an experiment, but it represents he was a particular type of man, right? All right, you get it, right? Feminine, compromised, the thug, in jail, in a program. See, the white outfit means the program. He was in a program, and he had privileges because he was in an experimental program. Yeah. And I think it was something about making thugs soft. But yeah, so he gets out, and you'll see. This was the main part of the movie that made me pay attention because it shows him going in a museum. And this is what I didn't catch the first time I watched it. But the whole concept of him being in a museum is showing how things used to be. This is when weapons outlawed, no more weapons, no more violence. It's supposed to also be a time where it's peace on earth. So the guns are antiques, and it's a museum because the museum represent that which was. So this is why I learned the concept of when they built the hip-hop museum, it represent that which was. That's what museums are, period. Y'all know that. It represent what was, a culture that's gone. So this was showing this particular corner he went to because he broke in the museum. Why? He was like, yo, everything changed. Everything is futuristic. So damn, all I know is how to survive from the old ways, old days. So what'd he do? Oh, a museum. Let me go in the museum and see if they got some of the old stuff in there. So he went to the museum, and that's where he found those guns at. You get it? Because it was a different time, 20 years later. The stuff antique. So he went to get the weapons from the museum. But in the museum, it shows the so-called Black culture. And it showed the guns. It showed the gangbangers, pictures, little stuff. You got to catch it because it's dark. But they were showing how the people that was extinct, this is their display. The same way you know about Native American displays, you with Egyptians, any display, Egyptian, whatever you want to say, this exhibition or exhibit, pardon me, represented the people that used to be here of this culture. They had graffiti, pictures of graffiti, and he was looking around like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, everybody gone. And then he had to go get them weapons. Yeah, he was the last one left. And only reason why he got out because he was in a program. All right. So, as you see, the main thing they were showing is the new technology of policing. So I watch TV now. So on the new TV show the show FBI, it shows you how the new technology, how they do now to this day. They sit back and watch big screens. The only difference in this from now is big screens. But you're looking at defund the police, y'all. That's what this is. This was showing us how they were able to run cities, states, towns without a lot of police, and they ran it off of cameras. The same thing we dealing with right now. When you run that light and get that ticket, it's in the movie, y'all. 93. So when I tell people, I had an edge on people with a lot of stuff because of certain movies. That's what I said. So when I've been seeing stuff play out of movies, was tripping like, oh, okay, I get it now. It's in the movies. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I go, y'all. So everything in this movie was never that we dealing with now. There was no such thing as that, y'all. It's in the movie. Hidden cameras. You made a right turn by mistake. Ticket come right to your house. Right here. Let's go. Policing, y'all. Defund the police. This is how policing is done right now. You watch the show. This is how they show you. They watch New York City right now to this day. This is how they fight crime to this day, y'all, with them cameras. That's why I say this is before it's even thought about. This is why I say I always knew that. Me and my peoples always knew this because we was into this stuff. And it also shows you. Now there's another part. It's not about all the Black people not around no more, see? It's about those criminal ones. You see the good ones right there with law enforcement, see? 1, 2, 3. And it's showing you that The old school man, he knew about what was going on. He knew how to catch his ass. Now, some of these rookies and other people, they came in under the new world where they were police, but they were green because they didn't really know about policing. They came in policing when policing was already digital. So it was showing you that, the woman Chandra, the other man, they didn't know too much. They were green because things had changed. There was no such thing as crime no more at all. So the policing at that time, they didn't know about criminals or nothing. They just heard about it. But the man in the chair, he knew about it. He old school. So he was the one that had to be on top of tracking his ass down. You know what I'm saying? Here go that's that concept to this day where they know to catch certain people, you got to have somebody look just like them. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's how it worked. So anyway, yeah. They were showing us the new form of policing that's to this day, y'all. And it also was showing that they were nerds, techs, they were into technology, but they really was stupid and didn't really know about criminals. They really didn't know much because they were so digital and so tech. And so when it was time for them to deal with a real criminal, they didn't know how to react. So that's why I say the movie got so many twists in it. Because one whole perspective of the movie is they flash technology in it. That's the most important part. Even to that firearm he got. You also will see the arms under the jumpsuit. All of that still represent prison. Yeah, that's Alexa right there. And y'all know about that now. Everybody know about touch screens and all of that. So yeah, the police department. And you'll see police departments look like that now, right? But when you look at technology, they portrayed it as a particular building, but it just still showing you these buildings were already being made because this movie also goes back, y'all, to the year when Silicon Valley started to take off. Yeah. So this is also when they was able to do a lot of good filming. So he was whipping their ass because they were just robots. It was also showing how everybody was robots. Everybody was robots. Nobody had common sense. It also showed how in these times, things were going to be so corny. It was going to be so corny. It was also what? No more music. This is also when I saw in the movie that music was going to be outlawed. Criminal music was going to be outlawed. Certain music, all music was going to be outlawed. And it showed in this that the only music that will be accepted is commercial music, jingles, songs, happy music. It's just all in the movie. So this is how I was also able to put certain things together, y'all. Because in the movie, music is outlawed. Anything loud, noisy, detrimental to the public, outlawed. The whole concept is everything's supposed to be peace and quiet. So that's why the Demolition Man, he came and messed up everything with his energy. Everywhere he went, it was demolition. And they wasn't used to that. All right, what are you looking at? We're looking at the actual car that was used in Demolition Man. But that is a real car from General Motors made in 92 to show us that technology is technology, y'all. And remember, the movie is based on the future. So it came out 93, but I think it was based on like 2030 or something like that. I got to do the research. It's set on based on 2020 to 2030, something like that. Yeah. So and how I look at this movie, being that I know what I know now, I look at this movie as taking place like around after the Olympics. Because remember when I said certain things like after the Olympics, certain people ain't gonna be around no more. And I knew this was looking like Cali. So I summed it up like I think this is supposed to be like around like after the Olympics, 2028, 2030, around that time. Somewhere in that span where certain people are not going to be around no more. So it's in this movie. And you also will see that this futuristic car was made back then because they knew one thing about the future cars, they were going to be more aerodynamic. And you're going to see to this day cars, especially the Ferrari, the Farmer, certain car race, y'all know they actually did take on these looks. This is just like the shell or the looks because in 92, all cars were not aerodynamic yet. It was, it was a lot of square cars still. So this when they first started rolling out light technology. Yeah. And you always just see that even in the other movie with Wesley Snipes, you still would see how they got him in them colors. You know what I'm saying? Because Wesley Snipes was the criminal element. Everything in people's mind, it comes from these movies. That's why you're going to see New Jack City, he went to jail, criminal. This right here, criminal. He in movies, what? Criminal, being chased. Yes. That was his avatar. They had avatars, y'all. Yes. So Wesley didn't want to be that avatar no more. And you see what happened to him, all right? He's showing you the actual spot and the movie shot. Now let's look at the beauty of this right here, what I was telling you, right? This the art imitate life, life imitate art. One is the movie, one is the real scene. But you already know the real scene had to be there before they made the movie. So this is to show you, when you look at the bottom picture, you will see things being futuristic in certain places. And that's what it is. So that place was so futuristic, they was able to put it in a movie that represented the future. But this is Silicon Valley area. So just also showing you how things always been ahead. There's also, when I understood the concept, like, you know, they always 30 years ahead. So as you see, this represent Wesley Snipes out of prison. But remember, y'all, he was in this program. Check it out. He was in a program. And the doctor convinced everybody everything was going to be straight. Everything was going to be straight. But see, that doctor didn't know it was going to go left. But the reality of the whole thing was the doctor was the only one that could control him. And that's what's in this picture. Huh? Look what it says. Analyzing evil, but it really says analyzing evil. Simon Phoenix and Dr. Raymond basically saying that doctor right there controlled him a certain way. That doctor basically broke him and had mind control over him. You also will see the hairstyle of a snake. See, they may look like a snake and a serpent, a cobra. Yeah. Also, it's showing you how they will be controlled. So he was controlled by him, but he glitched. But it also it's showing you right here, man. Because for him to trust him, some things was going on for him to trust him. But the thing is, it's like this. He flipped the script on him. We're just going to say that. After a while, they couldn't contain him. So he was in experiment, and that's what this means. He was a doctor, but it also will show you it represents spiritual, which means he had mind control over him spiritually. You'll see when people go to prison, they get into what? Religion. Because it also shows you can control these people through religion. Also, when you study history, you will hear stories about after they would be conquered with religion. Because the religion is how you control them. So it's showing you in the movie, even though it's in the future, it's showing how when he went out of whack, he tried to get him back right. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the only one that had mind control over him. Yes, he was the one in charge of the mind control program of locking them up, freezing them in time, and things like that. Yeah. And I also think they was doing stuff to them. Yeah. So you also see the joke, how he's standing behind him, and it says analyzing evil. It really says analyzing evil, but you see what I'm saying? He's standing behind us. Yeah. So look, and his name is Simon Phoenix too. Simon Phoenix is his name, and he represents after everybody's gone. Because you know, you heard about the story of the Phoenix rising from the ashes. That's supposed to be after the death, after the fire. So his name is Simon Phoenix, and he's supposed to be the last one left after everybody's gone. He's the last of his kind. You know what I'm saying? But the last of his kind was criminal. Yeah. But I also think it also meant that things in the country was peaceful, and this man wanted to bring chaos. So he the one that wanted to come into this experiment. He basically wanted to let the criminal element back to the streets. Basically, that's what he wanted to do. Get it? And it was also showing you how they can unleash evil whenever they want. It also showed you how they've been putting people in prison and programs and releasing them back on the street. That's all in this too. See? Prison reform is just different now. Yes. This also show you how people, you seeing all these people come home from jail that was not supposed to be home because a lot of them were put in programs. And also they had to be softened up in a lot of different ways. Yes. And they are only the ones that come home are the ones that are tested and improved mentally. Yeah. And they put a lot of them in, like I said, they put some of them in them programs where, you know, see if they can make them cry. You know, they got different methods to see improve if they're broken, and then they implement other things. So when they comfortable with them, like all of these new releases are meant for those programs. It's in the movie. All the men coming home now, if they was in jail a long time, a lot of them have been in these particular programs because it's certain ways they come home faster, y'all. Yeah. Yep. So it's also in the movie. So what else? Hold up. Then it's showing you that they didn't know what to do with them because they couldn't do nothing with them because society had went so tech, they didn't even know how to deal with regular police no more. And all it was showing you how in the future, a lot of people was going to be based on computer technology, but they was not going to have common sense. And they were going to be idiots. It's all in here. Yes, everybody was an idiot, y'all, because they were so teched out. Yes, and it was a thing with human contact. People had lost human contact. And another key thing of this whole thing was majority of the people walking around was not from here or from that place. That was the whole concept. Everybody walking around, but the people that's from there, you don't see none of them. And I'm talking about black and white. They was not outside. All right? So you will see him talking to the Alexa. He's saying, this is the catch right here, y'all. He's saying, where's Radio Shack? Because he got out of prison. It's the future. And he looking for Radio Shack because he's trying to get up to date. But this the joke. To this day, y'all, it ain't no Radio Shack. It ain't no Radio Shack. So in the movie, they knew one day Radio Shack was going to be gone. You know what I'm saying? It's in the movie. Yep. It's in the movie, y'all. Yeah. They knew one day Radio Shack was going to be gone. So yeah, it's right here. So it shows you he's trying to get up to date after he broke away, and he's trying to go back to all the things he remember, but it's gone. So that also represent, y'all, it was a different dimension, and he was stuck in time. Locked in penitentiary or jail really means stuck in time, but just in the movie, they made it where he was actually stuck in a capsule. But he was way stuck in time because everything had changed when he came home. The laws, the technology, everything. So all he had was his criminal ways to survive. And that was the whole concept. It also showed how they was using him as a guinea pig to test out their technology. Because that's also what they was doing. Because they never had a chance to actually observe these things of the criminal element. And this is also where I get the concept from of they always studying. They always studying. They always studying because that's where it come from, y'all. That's where it come from. And they were just studying him. And they was intrigued by the things he was doing. And, you know, they was just trying to, you know, it was showing he was an experiment because, like, wow, he was a dinosaur from a time where they were so violent, criminal behavior. And he's the last one left. But now you got this technology to watch him. And we just going, you know what I'm saying? And that's what was going on. And you'll see that they were just watching him. So this also represents when everybody was posting online, all these criminals was doing crime. This is how they watching them, because this is how they watch crime now. They watch crime on internets, mobile devices, and surveillance, street sign, everything. Like, and not only that, a lot of those cameras in these cities are private owned. They're not even owned by police. No, they're private companies that just do the filming, and this is what they do, and they send the film, whatever. So it was showing us this in 93, yeah. So this one, I knew certain things, like it's always in the movie. And when something is going to take place, it's going to take place. And don't forget, also, remember, there's a lot of movies coming out at this time. So that's how the movies work when you got to put them all together. You got to take Terminator and put it with it. Because the Terminator is the same concept. Yeah. Terminator, Demolition Man, same thing. Yeah. It all goes together. But it was showing, look, when you RoboCop, it was showing how things in the future was going to be so crazy They was going to need RoboCop, but RoboCop is really technology. They were showing how it was going to be a time in the future. The criminal element was going to be so much out of control. They was going to need technology. And RoboCop represented the technology, proving they were dealing with defund the police. Yeah, because they also knew that police are human error. You got to look at a lot of stuff. What? Police cause a lot of lawsuits. In a lot of state cities, police cost the cities a lot of money. You got to look at the corruption. You got to look at just not even corruption, all the salaries they got to pay, pensions, all these different things. They figured out ways where they always want to save that money, and it was going to be through technology, whether it's a robot or surveillance technology. They realize they don't need humans. They only need humans for certain things now, and that's it. And it's in the movie. These are the things that gave me clues. But like I said, you got to put a lot of this stuff together. Judge Dredd is also another chapter to this. So that's how Hollywood work, where movies would be the chapter 2, but it's not under the same movie. See, that's how it's a lot of stuff they was doing, the high stuff. That's how it go, y'all. So you'll think Judge Dredd is totally different, but really they related. And then, like I said, you got to put Total Recall with it too. So it's all together. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get into that, but you'll see how in 92, they was making a car that was supposed to look like after the 2000s. The technology right here. Touchscreen with the Alexa. And it was showing you that due to the fact of crime, they was going to be extinct. It also was showing us that the time of living by the GUN was over. The time of those days was over with. They were showing you that all that was old school, old, played out. There was no more of that slaying people. There was no more of that. It was showing you how things were so cleaned up, everything with peace and harmony. And that's what was going on. And everybody else is enjoying the country and everybody else is gone. And that's what they're showing you. So you know, another code I'm watching in this right now is showing you anybody that live like that, if you one of them people that still worship them, you know, them firearms and you all into it, it's going to be a time when y'all gone. Then think about all those places that just got hit with floods, fire, and you'll see a lot of them places where they have a lot of firearms. Somehow they've been catching a lot of smoke. Yeah, you're going to see all the places that got all the firearm rights, that love firearms. Somehow things been happening. Because even this movie is showing you it's going to be a time where that stuff ain't going to be no more. Or that behavior, or that mentality. The mentality you even thinking about shooting somebody going to be out of here. Get it? See, that's what they were showing us in the movie. It's not about what you're doing. It's about the even thought of you doing it. It's like this. They know criminals are made. They know people don't do crime just because they want to. They know people do crime because they poor. They know people do crime because of circumstance. So that's why they got things set up now. We got things set up now. Before you even think about it, we got a plan for you. And it's called, if you're not going to do right, you automatically going to fail because we got a whole nother system set up. See, the system y'all know, or certain people know, the criminal, they know how to survive like this. Gun, street activity. So they knew this. It's in the movie. Once we take away this, see right here, y'all, our future. Saying we don't have no future as long as this is around. Destruction, back. See that? Movie came out before, not all that. So it's showing you, they were saying, if we don't deal with this element, it ain't no future. So that's why it was already known that criminal element eventually has to go. Yes, even though things been built up on that criminal element, even though it's been promoted, all of that, it has to go. And it's in here that one day none of them going to be around. To prove it to you, because even the police didn't have weapons no more. Nope. Even they didn't have weapons no more. So that's what we're showing you. But it's not futuristic because people overseas already know about this stuff. That been like that in certain places. No firearm, and that's that. So also we're showing you it's going to be like that everywhere. Yes, it's many places we spoke about. We spoke about these things where it's certain places where it is not even a thought of having a firearm. You better not even get caught with a knife or some marijuana. Yeah. So it's going to be like that here. They're going to say, hey, You guys can do whatever you want to do. Day party, smoke. But, yeah, they're trying to set a tone where you don't even think about having to shoot nobody. So if the criminals are gone, you won't have to shoot nobody. And that's the whole program of this movie. And that is actually what we're watching right now as we speak, with all these different things happening with these cleanups and all this other stuff, because that is the concept. You get it, y'all? The concept is, if it's no more crime, then nobody has to be scared. So nobody have to be always worried about firearms and taking each other out. So that's why it's going down like that. When I said things like, from what I see, it's going to go back to stuff like, where you can come out with your family and not have to worry about stuff, because the criminal element is going to be gone. And also, if you do commit a crime, you're going to get like really frozen in time. That's what it's showing you on here. Yeah. And it show how you get a ticket for everything. Everything, you get a ticket. It show how you actually jaywalk and cross the street without permission. You got a ticket. It's all in here. You're using profanity, you get a ticket. It was all in here. You know what I'm saying? And it was also showing you how it was just tracked. He was being tracked by the cameras. Everything to this day, y'all. So people that didn't see this, that was into that type of activity, they didn't know that when that surveillance went up, that meant the end of their days. Because in 2025, y'all, this is modern day policing now. This right here is modern day policing to this day. Yup. Only difference is they be on big screens. That's the only difference. And remember also, y'all, at this time, it was no such thing as that. It was regular precincts. That's it. Regular as precincts. Was none of that. So it was already in the movie. So when I say your life is scripted, when we talk about all these things, y'all, this is why they always had some people watching these movies. So when the real movie's out, now guess what? You can take this movie and then you watch Enemy of the State. It's the same concept. Remember Will Smith running around the whole movie getting chased? Same concept. Being chased by the camera, same concept. You can say that's part 2. You get it? They always gave us this concept of, we're going to be after you criminals. Or you guys are criminals. You also see the movie what? Okay, he might be a legitimate person, but somehow he's on the run. Everybody trying to get him. He did something wrong. And these where the concepts come from. Yeah. That basically, you guys are not to be trusted. But not only that, y'all, it's about one day all that way of thinking is going to be gone. And then things are going to be changed in this new world. You're not gonna be able to comprehend. You're not gonna be able to relate. And that's what it's about. Yeah, because the whole also the concept is, when he looking at all these firearms, in reality, it was nobody on the street for him to shoot anyway. See how the streets was cleaned up? That's how the streets look now. So that's what all that was. It was basically saying that it was no victims for him. It was so much police activity, and things would change so much that the guns meant nothing. So that's why you'll see by the time he got right here, he ain't had no gun. It just was showing you that, he was the one stuck in time. Yeah. And then this is also, like I said, that was also grooming. When they made the jean jumpsuit popular, that was also prison uniform grooming. Yeah, prison grooming. Yeah, also labor. Y'all know to this day, those are construction worker colors. That's a construction worker outfit. Yeah, it also represents labor. Yeah, so that's right. This movie was on the other day. That's what inspired me to go ahead and do it. And that's another thing. Good thing. This is another code to it, y'all. This is how I learned. Because me and my people, this is what we do. This is why we grew up, right? Certain things. After 2000s came in, started cracking a lot of codes, right? So whatever movies and shows come on, it's always going to reflect the time we in. And that's how it's all coded as well. So being that we dealing with this time right now, with what? People getting rounded up, in front of police, the criminal element, under fire. They showing this movie now. Yup, as we speak. And that's how it go. Then you'll see, look, when it's time for regime change, and you've seen a political season, then you'll see it's Game of Thrones time. Because Game of Thrones is change in power, change regimes. It's always like that. You'll see whenever it's election season, you'll see a new Game of Thrones season come out. I'm telling you, everything being coded like that, y'all. Everything is in the shows. And that's why they had to see this, why a lot of people stay behind, y'all, because they always, it's not there, it's like that's why I always put everything on BT. Because while people watch BT, it was so much other things throughout those years that they didn't want people to watch. I'm talking about movies they don't show on TV to this day. I done learned this too. It's all the important movies, a lot of them, you got to pay for them and there's no way around it. It's like that on purpose. Yes, it's certain movies. If you want to see them right now, you're going to have to pay for it. Because they know the real movies, they don't even let other creators get them. They got smart. Like say if MGM made a movie that's really powerful, if you want to watch that movie, you got to go to MGM and see it. Yes, they have preserved certain movies. The same thing I said will happen with music. Certain movies are now preserved, and you're not going to see it unless you pay for it. But those are the movies with everything in it. Yup. So I learned that too. So even certain movies I want to go back into, I already know I got to pay for them. But they are the certified classics. So also, let me get into the film play. It just still shows you the film play back then, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You see the clarity, just as far as the way the movie was filmed, is like we standing right there. So it also shows you, because we in a new time and everything is digital, it don't mean nothing, because the more they went digital, they actually took away from the real film. So that's why I'm telling you, all the screenplay was right here. And that's how it went down. But it also was showing you that the main only way you can control them is with religion. And that's why he looked like a religious man. It's two things you use to control them with. You're going to see it's two things you use to control them. That word doctor and religion. If you a doctor, they listen to you. If you're a doctor, they're going to say what they're going to, especially if you got a doctor degree, they listening. They knew that. Doctor and religion. And you're going to see. Those are the two forms they always come at a particular people and work their brain. Right? That's how it go. They're showing you the brainwash program. They're showing you the brainwash formula for a prisoner or how to control a prisoner. Then if you go back in history, and you'll always see whenever they put people in prison, they made them bow down to the religion, no matter what religion it was. It made them get down. So they were showing you that you only control some people with religion. And that's why it's very important when these people go to jail to pick a religion. Pick one. And also, sometimes that's the only way they make parole. But it also shows that they are controlled by brainwash programs. And that's what that means. This represents him controlling him and getting in his head, because he already controls him. That is the reason why he was allowed to be an experiment. See, because I'm saying it again, he was already locked up. And he the one that put him in. So this guy brought him back in the experiment because it's really trying to show he had him in favor, but it backfired on him. Yeah. And this also, like I said, this represents the punk, young punk, the punk, the weirdo. You know, the punk is also another word for pink, y'all. It's nothing but a vowel, which means he's going to be tough. He'll shoot you, all of that stuff, but really, he's still funny. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. And it represents that doctor was getting funny with him, as if he had to go through a program to get out. Maybe a particular anal program, something like that. You know? Yeah. Because it also is said that a lot of those officers are with that stuff too. They say it ain't just inmates that been doing that stuff to people. They said a lot of it was so-called officers. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm a weirdo, so I thought about a lot throughout the years. I said throughout the years, I think they let people come in there to do that stuff on purpose, y'all. I be like, yo, I think they let COs come in them prisons and do that stuff to people. I think they let people in those prisons back in the day, and they be disguised as inmates, and they was purposely letting them do that to people. I feel like it was a time in history where they were actually using those prisons as braking systems and process systems. Because if you look at it today, everybody has a choice and everybody do what they do. But I think back in them days, they actually had processes to groom that stuff. Because you're going to just see that now. Yeah. So yeah, y'all, it shows that everybody was stupid, and it showed that everybody was stupid because all they knew was technology, and the only one that was smart was that old school dude, because he remembered the old ways. So he was the only one that could stop him and knew what was up. But you're gonna see this representative, this guy was big, brute, but he was an idiot, and he had no real firearms. Oh, what else in the movie, y'all? They were showing how they work with the tasers. They were showing how they work with the tasers. Yeah. Yup, no firearm. So yeah, it's all in the movie. So the key thing to this whole thing is they became extinct, and other Americans. Any American or any person in this particular country that was not on the side of law enforcement or was opposite of law enforcement or opposite of a good citizen, they were the enemy and they were already wiped out. They already got wiped out. Yep. And then there's also another code in it where people say that uniform he got on looks like a particular uniform. Yeah. Yep. And you always see this Dr. Evil scientist look. Yeah. Another thing in these movies we didn't get, y'all. You're going to see in a lot of these movies, they always have these smart men that look like nerds and they so smart and doctors, and they always will show you they talking a foreign language. Because they always will show you that it will be other people here that will be the smartest. And they will always try to do, you know what I'm saying? They always show you in these movies, y'all. Yeah. So, and it also show you that, all races are going to be getting along, but it's about law. So everybody on the side of the law, all cool, all family, all friends, and that's what it is. Anybody criminal, they gone, and they are the factor. Yeah. And it also show you who the face of crime is in it. And that's the whole concept of Demolition Man, a.k.a. Thug, a.k.a. the one who ruined stuff, a menace to society. See, it represents the one that'll slay you in public, and you got to watch out for him. So the whole concept is it could be no peace until the Demolition Man is gone. So that's why everything the Demolition Man loved was gone. Radio Shack, everything he loved was gone. His guns, everything. And it showed that he was a weirdo and a loon ball. Yup. And he got flipped. That's what the blue eyes mean. Everything about him was backwards. Everything. Yeah, that's what all that means. He was totally opposite of himself. Yeah. Yep. So on that note, I ain't gonna stretch it out. That's what it is, y'all. So yeah, the Demolition Man, 1993. Go check it out. Go check it out. It's a good movie. And another thing is, technology made all these movies good again and made it even better, especially some already. Because like I said, the technology now, the TVs, the sound, it's like watching totally different movies. That's what I want people to definitely understand. When some of y'all might think, oh, that's 91, that's 93, that's 95, that's an old movie. Nah. When you watch it on that newts, nah. I just take this movie and top like 10 other new movies with. You know what I'm saying? That's how it go, y'all. So you can know what time it is through these movies because they release certain movies. Like I said, they just released Get Out. Remember when I talk about the campaign of certain people, they released Get Out. Boom. Then right now as we speak, Demolition Man playing. So as I said, I know how to read this stuff. Yeah, that's why I say it's no coincidence what's going on. Yeah. All of this stuff means something. And you'll even see the Get Out concept. Same concept of experimentation. The only way to control him is through experimentation. See, he's under control, under experimentation. Get Out, he was under the psychological treatment through experimentation. It's all in here. That what you guys get experimented on. And a lot of, So yeah, we're going to go, y'all. Appreciate everybody. More to come. I had to do this. So I definitely got more to come. So yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to do Total Recall too. This was them telling us in the last day, these people are going to be weird. 93, y'all, nobody was wearing blonde hair at all. None of that stuff. Haircuts was not like that. None of that stuff was like that. Nope. So, yeah, we out.